Hi folks, Anthony here again. I'm not even sure how I hit upon the question that I asked in the most recent poll. Perhaps it was prompted by something in the news recently, but the results are a bit disturbing and kind of fun. And I think a large number of my viewers understood my point, although a majority did not. But the whole point of anything like this, besides having a little fun, is to try to use it as a lesson to learn from, and I'll get to that point after I look at the results. So be sure to keep watching this whole video, and I hope to keep it short because I value your time. So as of a few moments ago, the poll had been up for a day, and so far it had received 122 votes. And in this climate of various wars going on overseas, including one that is nearly a never-ending one along the eastern coast of the Mediterranean, there is a concern about certain ethnic or religious groups, and perhaps rightly so, when it comes to their influence on societies in other countries. My question asks, should American school children from kindergarten to grade 12 be required to learn Arabic numerals in public schools? And my options are yes, no, and a third option that it should be optional with the permission of the child's parent or guardian. And just so you know, in these poll questions, the author is limited to 65 characters in the result lines, so I have to kind of abbreviate the text of the options sometimes. So let's look at the results. 41% of the respondents said yes, American school children should be required to learn Arabic numerals. At the time of this poll, just under 50%, at 48%, said no, school children should not learn Arabic numerals in American schools. At times, this percentage was larger when I first put the poll up. And then the third option, with 11%, says that it should be optional with the permission of the parent or guardian of the child. Of course, when many people hear the word Arabic, they get a little worried, but as perhaps at least 41% of my viewers know, Arabic numerals are the ones that we use in the United States, and in fact are used throughout what we might call the Western industrialized world or Western civilization. So it may sound a little scary, but Arabic numerals are what we are all using, including those people in the 59% of the poll who argue that they should not be taught in schools or should only be taught with the permission of a student's parent or guardian. So what's the takeaway from this? As I've said all along, the purpose of my videos is to try to get people to think and make their decisions based on the facts that we have and a logical conclusion based on those facts. And in theory, it could be kind of a boring subject, but there are many interesting subjects, at least to many of us, such as the issue that's been brewing in the ex-Scientology world, that we can look at and try to use this framework of logic and deduction when analyzing the people and their behaviors, for instance, in the Aftermath Foundation situation. There's lots of things going on in the world that can seem upsetting. It could be in your hometown. It could be in the city of Boston. It could be at Harvard. Or it could be in Ukraine or Israel. But in all those cases, there are often many complicated factors, pieces of information, and the less one knows about them, the riskier it is when you come to a conclusion about any of these situations. And in some of these, you have ethnic and religious conflicts that go back hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of years. You may have racial conflicts that go back hundreds and hundreds of years that are, at least to a degree, at the root of some of these issues that we may be seeing in the news today. They say that ignorance is bliss, and a lot of people just want to ignore important evidence. I was listening to a talk radio on a short ride back home from the post office recently, and the caller had called in to the host about the conflict in Gaza, and the host pointed out that this is something that's gone back thousands of years, and the caller wanted to ignore that and picked a much shorter time frame to look at the conflict. I think that they picked like 1986, which seems like a bit of an arbitrary number that holds no significance to anything in the history of that area as far as I know. And even if everyone agreed that you should only look at things since a certain period of time, you're not going to get any intelligent agreement upon the situation. But certainly excluding thousands of years of history of conflict between the peoples in that area is of little intellectual benefit in understanding the whole complex situation. So as I close, please, when you're looking at any situation, don't jump to conclusions. Ask yourself, do the pieces of information that I have heard so far give me enough basis to make any conclusions on? Have I only listened to one side of the conflict or of the discussion? Is it the side of the person that I happen to like? And by unsubscribing and not listening to the other side, am I depriving myself of potentially valuable information that is relevant to a fuller understanding of the situation? Okay, I'm going to end up here now. I just checked some of the stats on my channel. I've gone from having 11% of my viewers subscribed up to 15%, which is actually a pretty high number for many creators, probably higher than Aaron Smith-Levin based on the numbers that he gives. My channel's already monetized, and as you can see, I'm making about $3 a day for 2 to 4 hours or more of work. So anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, I want to hear from you. Even if you disagree with me on things, your comments are certainly welcome. And of course, I love to hear positive comments also. But if you take issue with what I have to say in any of my videos, and you have relevant exculpatory information or a well thought out but opposing viewpoint, I'd love to hear that. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything in the world, and I'm open-minded enough to admit that from time to time, when I'm wrong, and if you watch any of my videos or enough of my videos, you'll see that I definitely do admit when I've made a factual error or my conclusion is modified by additional information that I've received. For many of my viewers, we are coming quite close to some big holidays. Happy holidays to everybody, no matter what holiday you may celebrate in whatever way you do. If you are so moved, no matter what you believe, think about your life and the world and ask yourself, what can I do to improve my life and the world, even just a little bit? If there's something that you can do to help somebody else, whether it's a financial donation to a nonprofit, the donation of a warm coat to a charity helping people that may not have coats, or even just reaching out to old friends to give them a call or send them a text and ask how they are, I think that that moves the needle on human progress just a little bit. Thanks so much for watching my videos and taking my polls. I don't know what the next poll will be, but I'll try to get it up today. Perhaps the next poll will ask whether Homo sapiens should be allowed to be teachers in public elementary schools in the United States. I think that that could be certainly a controversial subject. Okay, thanks again.